You have a gap on your CV. Oh no, what am I going to do in the interview? But did you know one in three, one in three people have gaps of more than 6 months on their CVs? Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing to worry about if you have a gap on your CV. I'm going to talk in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about how you deal with that particular issue with confidence and be able to move forward. So let's dig deeper into this in the episode. And obviously, thank you for joining me today. So there's two ways of dealing with this. Let's first of all let's pull back first and foremost. How do employers feel about gaps on CVs? Well, we're all dead worried about it. We all think that they see it as a slight on you as a character or an individual. In actual fact, I'm going to be honest, most employers will see a gap on the CV and they'll see you as risky. They'll say, why on earth has that person left a job without anything else on the table? That is high risk. That makes them a risky individual. Of course, these people that are interviewing have never made a mistake in their life, or have never worked for a bad employer, or never had bad things happen to them in life. But we'll forgive them for that. But sometimes I like to remind employers that everyone is human. But this is how you deal with it. So there are two ways dealing with it. Number one is networking, which I'll answer in a minute. But number two is when you don't know the people, you can have a plan in place for the interview. So I've got a 4-point playbook. The first one, point number one, be honest. Be honest. There's a gap on your CV. You can't escape it. Just be honest. Accept it. Number two, give a reason that's neutral. That could be redundancy, dismissal, looking after a family member, whatever. But just give a reason, a neutral reason as to why you left that employer. And I'll come on to dismissal in a minute. Thirdly, when you've given a reason why you've left, explain to people what you did in that break period. So if you're out of a job for 2 years, you can say, well, look, during that time, I worked on leadership, or I did courses on marketing, and this leads on to the next point. And number four, you show how you use that time and how you're ready to bring it into your new role. You can say, look, I did a marketing course and now I'm ready to bring this in to a new role and a new challenge. Okay, so that's how you explain it at an interview stage. Now, best way, of course, about any of this is networking. So if you know the employer, or if you've already built up a relationship, they're more likely to trust your answer. They're more likely to be forgiving and not really care about the gaps on the CVs. And I'll come on to this point in a minute. So I've always said 80% of jobs aren't advertised, 20% of jobs are. The posted jobs is the 20%. Those are the ones where you go for formal interviews and they don't know you. The 80% is by direct outreach, where you contact managers, hiring managers, employers, potential employers, and you're already showing initiative with them. You're already building up dialogue, building up conversations with them about whether they've got potential opportunities. And then after an initial approach, you probably have an informal chat about synergy between you and them, and you're already building up a rapport. They're already beginning to like and trust you. So it's going to be easier. They're not going to be too worried about gaps on your CV. You just have to simply answer the question at interview stage. But if you build up that trust and rapport, it's going to be very easy for you to answer at an interview, and they're going to be less bothered by it. And I'll come on to the stats. Now, when it comes to, this is where candidates really struggle. Two difficult reasons why could have left an employer, and they struggle to answer this. And I'll give you my advice on both now. So the first one is a toxic employer. And candidates will throw around words to me like, I don't want to be seen as disloyal, bitter, demotivated, angry, any of these things. Let me just say, let me give you the psychology behind this. Loyalty starts to yourself first. The employer doesn't care that you're out of a job, your previous employer, so why should you care about their reputation? So don't be bitter, just be direct. Say, look, I left that particular company because of the working environment. It wasn't a great one. I didn't think it was good for me. I thought it'd be better off for me to leave, even if there was nothing else to go to. It was the best decision for me. And during that time, I did leadership, I did marketing courses, and I'm ready to bring this in to a new challenge. And not only that, it's sharpened my mind to know exactly what I want from a future employer. And I won't make that mistake again. If a candidate said that to me in an interview, I'd give them a job on the spot. So just take that as a positive answer. Okay. The next difficult one is when you've been dismissed. How do you deal with that? Well, the simple answer is you need to deal with that before you even go for another interview. How do you deal with it? Well, you have to negotiate with your employer. If you've been dismissed, normally they don't want the hassle of having to dismiss you, and now you resign from the employer rather than be dismissed. So you basically just say it's resignation, toxic work environment, bad working environment. Tell them what you did. Say you've learned from that and this is what you want again. Okay, but try not to be dismissed. Try and resign. If you have been dismissed, you've got to be completely honest about it and say, look, I was dismissed, but they're a really difficult firm to work for, and I wasn't the only one that was dismissed, by the way. So just be honest. But if you can explain it with humour and clarity, you're more likely to be for the employer to look at you more favourably. But if you know them and you network with people, this is how you find the jobs. This is what makes the interview process a lot easier and a lot more comfortable for you. Okay, so let's move on about what do employers really think. Now, you're going to be probably a bit flabbergasted here, but hopefully this gives you a bit of reassurance. 79% of employers really don't care that you've got a gap on your CV. They don't care. So that might surprise you. But the important thing is that most employers are less likely to give you a job or, funny enough, to give you any sort of pay rise if you do work for them. They feel like they're giving you the opportunity, again, the second chance. So what does that say to you, to me? To me as a recruiter, it's positive. It says to me that a gap on your CV doesn't mean it. What is important is how you explain that to people. So that means you have to prepare to answer those questions. So just to summarize, accept where you are, a short answer, 2 sentences max that will satisfy them, and they cannot question your answer anymore. Any waffling around, any uncomfortable silences, they're going to be onto you and they will not trust you at all. You've got no chance. Elimination time. Okay, so be prepared to answer those questions. So hopefully that helps. If you're a candidate at the moment and you're going for an interview and you've got gaps on your CV and you're struggling to explain that, or struggling in your own mind, perhaps panicking a little bit about how I explain that in an interview, please, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll drop it in the comments section below when this video is published, and I'll look at your LinkedIn bio and I will tell you how you can explain that to people. So going forward, obviously, please like and subscribe to my channel. I've been doing recruitment now for over 22 years. I founded Blue Pencil in 2002. Have over 22 years experience of dealing with recruitment in overseas markets all over the world, Middle East, Southeast Asia, offshore, UK, America, everywhere. I dealt with all sorts of different people and cultures, and I've been through this process time and time and time again. I understand that the job market is tough. I can see that myself at the moment. I want to help candidates that are struggling to get jobs. All of this content is free. And as I say, it's a lot of experience packed into some of this content. So please, please, please like and subscribe to this channel so I can do more and more videos. Every Wednesday, I have a live Q&A about job searching techniques and how you find jobs. And for all the lawyers, because we've got a legal recruitment company, for all the lawyers out there, I do a Friday update on the legal recruitment market. For all those tuning in, I hope you have a great week. It's Monday, and yeah, let's get motivated.